Now, to find out all the queries, your doubts, many people are battling with a lot of myths regarding the coronavirus. So we're joined by expert doctors who will answer your questions regarding the coronavirus. Well, before I open up the phone lines, I'd like to know if surgical masks are sufficient, as there were about 200 students stuck in Mauritius. They didn't have the N95 masks, but they only had surgical masks. They were worried if those are enough or not. Let's find out from our expert doctor in the house if a surgical mask is enough against the coronavirus. To find out exactly how does the coronavirus transmit, there could be a droplet transmission from affected person through cough or sneezing, and also those droplets could spread through air or through surfaces. Person inhaling, touching his eyes, nose, face can get affected. So one shouldn't be touching their face as much as possible. Keep a minimum distance of 1 meter from the affected person. They're saying about 6 feet from most people. That's the kind of social distancing that one needs as far as the coronavirus transmitting is concerned. So we have Dr. Rajesh Parikh joining us from the Jaslok Hospital in Mumbai, and we have Dr. Neeraj Nishchal, who's joining us from the AIIMS Hospital in Delhi. Doctors, before I open up my phone line, I would like to ask you, are the surgical masks, are those enough to prevent the coronavirus?
I'm not sure what the question is.
Yes, Dr. Neeraj, go ahead.
Yeah, so this question is coming in minds of each and every one of us. So we have to understand one thing. This surgical mask is not going to prevent you from getting coronavirus if you are using it left, right, and center. See, this mask is meant for those who are symptomatic, who have symptoms, to prevent it from spreading to others, or for those who are closely helping out these infected patients. So if you are healthy, you don't have symptoms, you are wearing mask, it's not going to prevent you from getting this infection, just because when you wear a mask, you feel a constricting sensation over your face, and you have this tendency of touching your face, nose, always scratching those areas which should be avoided. So in fact, you may be harming yourself more by using mask when you are not symptomatic. So I will strongly suggest against using this mask if you are not symptomatic or you are not caring for those who are infected around us. Save this mask for healthcare workers and those who are going to need it should the need come.
Right. We have Harman joining us from Mumbai. He has a question for Dr. Rajesh. Harman, go ahead.
Hello, I'm Dr. Herman here. I'm a dental surgeon practicing Mira Road, Mumbai. I've been seeing almost everyone using masks, but I don't know where they're disposing the masks. I think emphasis should be given on how they are disposing the disposable masks, what they're using. Some people are using it too long. They don't know when to throw away the used mask. And I would suggest using of cotton masks so that they can wash it in a detergent and iron it so that, this kind of spread can be prevented, because otherwise they might throw into the regular garbage bin, which will go into the dump yard. Even the people who are handling that also are exposed to this. And not only that, the bacteria and virus can multiply in the dump yard, and nobody takes it. Actually, strictly speaking, the disposable masks should be incinerated. So if that facility is not available, it's not available for the common man. So what they can use is they can use a cotton mask, wash it in detergent and iron it, so that you are ensured about because above 30 degrees or 50 degrees, the virus cannot sustain. They cannot survive. So that would be, I think, more emphasis should be given on how the masks are being used and how they are disposed. I would suggest doctors to, highlight on that for the common man. That's very important, because all are using masks and, disposing. I don't know when they are disposing and where they are disposing. So that is a very important point to curb the spread of infection.
Thank you so much for those suggestions there. Now we have another caller getting us with these questions that are coming in from Chennai, Atria from Chennai. Dr. Rajesh?
Hello? Yes. So, sorry.
Adrian, go ahead.
This is, hello? Yeah. This is Adrian from Chennai. My question is, like recently the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, they released a graph featuring appropriate facial hairstyles that would be apt such that it covers your face completely while wearing a mask. So I just want to know, like, what are the facial hair precautionary measures men must take while wearing a mask? Like, is it should we trim our beard and keep it shorter? Like, what are the precautionary measures to be taken?
Dr. Rajesh?
Yes. So those earlier two questions are, somewhat related. The first and most important thing I'd like to emphasize what the speaker before me said, and that the masks will not protect you from contracting the infection. In fact, they give you a false sense of security. You feel that you have a mask, so you may not retain the appropriate distance. You may not do the usual precautions. And as Dr. rightly pointed out, you may keep adjusting the mask to get it right. It's a foreign object that sits on the face. First of all, let's look at some myths regarding these masks. So when you have a mask which says N95 or N99, it looks fancy, like some of those Star Wars contraptions, and looks very scientific. But here's what N95, 5% of the particles. 5% can still go in, and likewise with N99. To understand the size of the virus, 2,000 of those viruses would fit on a full stop that comes at the end of, say, a 12-font sentence, the kind of thing that you see in a newspaper. They're incredibly tiny and can go through. The masks also need to be custom made, which is impossible, because there will be tiny crevices at the side of the mask through which the virus can go in. And then, as was pointed out, the masks need to be replaced periodically. Once the mask is wet, it's of no use, which means replacing the mask almost every 2 hours. Where the masks are truly effective is if somebody is symptomatic and wears the mask, then that person is protecting others from contracting the infection. So, my suggestion is, first of all, stop buying those masks. They are useful for patients. They're useful sometimes for healthcare workers. And by buying them and hoarding them and driving them out of the market, the people who really need them will not have them. And it is enlightened self-interest not to hoard, because if the people who need them don't have them, they contract the infection, they spread it, and it comes around.
Now, thank you, Doctor, with those details. We have another caller calling us at this point in time. Uma from Faridabad, what's your question?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning. I have a question that I'm feeding street dogs every day. I feed them biscuits, and they climb on me, and they cuddle, and they sometimes lick me also. And in that process, is it safe for me to go out every day and feed biscuits to them?
Yes. First of all, there is no evidence whatsoever of any infection being transmitted from dogs, cats to humans. In fact, there is mild evidence to suggest the contrary. One dog has been found to be weakly positive to the virus after getting it transmitted from the person who was in contact with the dog. So please don't worry about these animals transmitting the virus to you.
Debashish from Hyderabad is calling us with some queries. Dr. Neeraj, would you like to take that?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Debashish? Debashish, please ask your question.
Yeah, can I speak now?
Yes.
Yeah, the question is, we are really worried when we see the discussion says that too few tests are being done. So the figures that are in India being shown may not be very realistic. But I have one question that I have also seen that there are some sample tests were also done on, say, 400 or 500 people, and the results were almost zero, if not zero. Now, my question is it reflecting that in India the spread is really less, or these should be taken as exceptions?
Dr. Neeraj, would you like to reply to his question?
Yeah. This is a very common question. Everybody is asking why we are not testing each and everyone in this country of 1.3 billion. But let me be very frank. See, test would have become of paramount importance if we had a specific treatment for this disease. You test the disease, you find a positive result, you give a treatment, and the patient is fine. But that's not the case. We don't have a definitive treatment as such. So what we are going to anyway advise everyone that if you are positive, you have to quarantine yourself, you have to stay away from others, which we are doing. And once you test negative, doesn't mean you're not going to contract this disease again if it's already there in the society. So we should not be running after the test just because we have symptoms. If you have risk factors, then only try to visit this test center after calling helpline. Otherwise, if you keep on crowding these places, there are high chances of you contracting disease from those who are actually positive. So don't run after testing. The only solution is simple soap, water, and self-restraint by quarantining yourself if we have symptoms. And of course, the young population who is thought to be asymptomatic carrier, they should refrain from going in close contact with elderly or susceptible population if they have in their family. So don't run after tests.
Yusuf joining us from Abu Dhabi on the phone line. Yusuf, what's your question?
Yeah. Good morning, sir. Yeah, can you brief me on this self-quarantine for 14 days? And during this period, do you have observed any diet control on?
So his question, right, about what to do during self-quarantine. Doctor, please go ahead.
Yeah, so self-quarantine means you have to exercise utmost restraint. Keep yourself, your personal belongings to yourself only. Here, sharing is not caring. So try to minimize contact with others in the family members. And regarding that, you can eat whatever you feel like, eat healthy diet. There is no specific diet which can be prescribed which will help you fight this virus or chances of getting this virus. So self-quarantine is simply isolate yourself from others in the family and community, avoid socializing, and keep your personal belongings just to you. Don't share anything with anyone.
Right. Dr. Yasin joining us from Srinagar. Now he has a question for us.
Yeah, good morning. My question is to Dr. Neeraj, that if a suspected person with some travel history, if they have followed the quarantine period, I suppose, which is 14 days, after that, is it okay for them, to meet them or to, for them to go to places, carry out their daily activities? Is it okay for them for 14 days, or after that also they have to follow some precautions?
So this has been requested by our Honorable Prime Minister that this is the time. See, you may not have developed that symptom or infection during that 14 hours. You are lucky. But if you keep on going around to unnecessary places, I'm talking about unnecessary places like socializing or going to places where you should not be going, which can be avoided. So you should not be going to that place. You may not be infected, but others whom you are going to meet, they may be infected and may give, because this virus has a very big ego. It will not come to your house unless you go out and invite yourself. That's why this quarantine, self-restraint is very important for all of us.
Right. So the next question is for Dr. Rajesh. It's coming from Amit in Raipur. Amit, what's your question?
Yeah, hi. My question is that all the deadlines in India are being set for the 31st of March. What after the 31st of March? How will things change suddenly after the 31st of March?
Dr. Rajesh, would you like to answer that?
Yes, Amit, please keep in mind, these deadlines are not written in stone. They are as of now. The idea of the deadline being till the 31st of March is for us to see how the situation unfolds until then. It's very likely that that will be extended, but we have to wait and see. So please don't make plans to travel on the 1st of April or 2nd of April, assuming that miraculously everything is going to settle down by the end of the month.
Well, it's a game of wait and watch at the moment. We have Dilip Kumar joining us from Ranchi. What's your question?
Hello.
Yes, Amit.
Yes.
Yes, Dilip Kumar, go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. I would like to ask the question to Dr. Neeraj, who is from AIIMS. Yeah. Yes, sir. We are actually locked up in the house and we are maintaining personal hygiene. I would like to ask you, actually, we are more scared. Though there is no case reported in Jharkhand, maybe there is no testing facility in Jharkhand, and the blood sample which is being taken here, that is being sent to Kolkata. for testing. And people are saying that due to delay in transportation of the blood sample from Ranchi to Kolkata, actually the sample is getting destroyed. That's why no positive case has been detected in Jharkhand. So amidst all this fear, actually, we are actually maintaining personal hygiene and staying indoors. So I would like to ask you, sir, even I have got a special child also who is 13 years old. So what kind of personal hygiene I should maintain inside the house for my family, and what are the actually do's and don'ts for that? Please.
Dr.
So you already have been taking precaution. You are not going out and you are maintaining personal hygiene. Personal hygiene means frequent washing. If you are not interacting with outside world and nobody inside your house is infected, then it's very unlikely that this virus is going to come to your house without any contact. And regarding that testing aspect, no blood sample is being tested for this virus. It's the throat swab and the nasopharyngeal swab which is being sent. So blood sample is not tested for this virus. So I don't know from where you are getting this information. Please verify this fact and don't believe in such rumors. If you are not going out, if you are keeping your family close to yourself, nobody is coming in or going out, then chances of you getting virus is very, very low. And in any situation, panic is not a solution. If you panic, you are going to take irrational decisions and which may actually cause problem to you. So stay calm. And use just soap and water, cup etiquettes, and you will be fine. Even your child will be fine.
Okay, Robert calling us from Pune. Robert, what's your question?
Good morning, doctor. My question is, if a patient has recovered from coronavirus, can he get infected with the virus again?
Dr. Rajesh, would you like to take that question?
Yes. Good morning, Robert. The brief answer is yes. People can get reinfected again.
So if somebody has got coronavirus and been cured, can actually get it all over again. Is that right?
Yes, that's not a probability, but it's a distinct possibility. One other thing to keep in mind is, although there is no evidence that this has happened yet, but it has happened frequently with other coronaviruses, the virus can mutate.
Right. And also, one last question one last question would be, is heat and humidity playing a factor as far as coronavirus is concerned?
Well, not to a large extent. Humidity could, in the sense of driving people indoors and therefore bringing them in closer contact, and that way heat could. But, you know, what we've been hearing around, and I'm sure Dr. Mitchell will bear me out on that, that somehow, the weather will change, summer will come in, the virus will not survive in the summer. Well, let's not count on meteorological intervention or divine intervention. There is no evidence to suggest that. Other viruses, somewhat related to them, do come down in summer, but that's not something you can count on as far as this virus is concerned.
Thank you so much,
it will depend on
Dr. Rajesh and Dr. Neeraj for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With that, it's a wrap on this bulletin. News and updates will continue on the other side. Do stay with us.